We are back, and we're going to be doing a little good and bad breakdown of the Ohio State versus Wisconsin game. Although for Ohio State, it really was the good and less good. I don't know if I can come away from this game saying anything was truly bad about Ohio State and how they played. So we'll get right into it with the good, obviously, was the entire game because it ended up being 52-21, and 14 of those points for Wisconsin came in the fourth quarter after the game was pretty much already over. And this game was over really after the first quarter. I mean, score-wise, not really, but you can just tell with momentum and how things were going out that after 15 minutes of play, Wisconsin was not catching up to this team in any way, shape, or form. The offense was a juggernaut, and the defense has stepped up against the two best opponents that they've played so far. Obviously, more games mean there's going to be a wide variety of. I don't think Wisconsin's going to be the best offense that this Ohio State team plays in the regular season. But they've had Notre Dame and Wisconsin, and those are two of probably their best performances, if I'm being honest. Arkansas State and Toledo, you kind of expect a shutdown defense. And you gave up actually 4 scoring drives to Arkansas State and 3 to Toledo, and you only gave up 3 to Wisconsin. And again, 2 of those were really late and in garbage time. So just another performance from the defense where it's a bigger name opponent, and they step up and they play arguably better than they have been the last couple weeks. But going back to the offense, I really like the chemistry that C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. They've picked it up right where it left off from the Rose Bowl last year, where he had, I think, 3 touchdown catches or so. Maybe he didn't have 3, but Marvin Harrison Jr. had a huge game in the Rose Bowl, and that's just picked up right where it left off, especially with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Julian Fleming, who Julian Fleming did play in this game, but he's had injury issues before. Jackson Smith and Jigba did not play in this game, and he hasn't really been here the whole season. That's what's insane, that this offense is doing this arguably without their best receiving threat on the field. And that just kind of speaks to how crazy stacked this Ohio State receiving room is. And I haven't even talked about Cade Stover yet. So Cade Stover, as a true difference maker at the tight end position, where I've said before that Ohio State, the past 5 years, it seems like they've had good tight ends, obviously, but it doesn't feel like the tight ends really made a statement on the field. It was more about the wide receivers and the running backs and those those skill positions, and the tight ends would just kind of make their presence felt whenever they were thrown to. Where Cade Stover, when he gets the ball and the way he gets the ball and runs and does everything, it makes it. He basically forces Ryan Day to design plays for him, because he is just such a beast and such an animal when he gets the ball, and when he lays his shoulder into somebody. It's such a difference maker at the tight end position that Ohio State has been missing for a few years now. Maybe missing isn't the right term, since maybe they didn't feel like they didn't need it. But somebody like Cade Stover is really nice to have, where you can get the wide receivers covered all well, and then Cade Stover will get a flat out of the back of the at the line of scrimmage and just turn a 2-yard gain into a 7-yard gain with fighting for extra yards. I think that is a real difference maker. But to me, the bread and butter, the fuel of this offense is going to be this running attack. The offensive line, once again, creating massive holes against Wisconsin. And Mayan Williams, I think, has earned the starting running back job away from Trey Henderson. And that's not because Trey Henderson has been bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that Mayan Williams has been that much better. He's been such a difference maker from last year to this year. He's running with a different gear. And I do like the philosophy that this coaching staff is approaching with. It seems like both sides of the ball, where if you're the hot hand and you're performing better, even if you're slated as the backup on the depth chart, you're going to stay in. You are going to have the job that you earn until you don't earn that job anymore. I like that. Trey Henderson, again, he's probably the starting one depth chart on paper. If this was, Madden or college NCAA football or whatever, Trey Henderson probably has the higher overall heading into the season, but Mayan Williams has performed better than Trey Henderson. Again, Trey Henderson has not been bad. Mayan Williams has just been a different animal this year. He's been going nuts ever since that drive against Notre Dame, I believe in the fourth quarter. Yeah, ever since that drive, he's just been running with a different kind of engine behind him. It's crazy. And once again, they're doing this all without Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is probably the most hyped receiver on this team so far. So we're going to get into what the bad or the less good. Late in the game, he's that one play drive, that one run for a touchdown, for that only took one play for Wisconsin. You never like to see that. That's never something you want to see. Again, it was in garbage time and the game was over, yes, but you never want to see, an opponent go 75 yards on one play for a touchdown. That's never good. There were some injury scares in this game for Ohio State, but unfortunately Wisconsin did not escape as fortunate as Ohio State did. I think one of their tight ends it looked like a really bad leg injury. He probably isn't going to see the football field the rest of the season, and if it is this season, it won't be for a very, very long time, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. looked a little shaken up on a play. Cade Stover leapt up for a pass and came down a little weird and looked like shaken up a little bit, but Ohio State did end up avoiding major injury disaster. And really the only, the only bad or less good takeaway is that I'm still not sure if Ohio State has played anyone that's actually that good, and it looks like it's not going to be that way until that Penn State game later on in October, because honestly, Wisconsin, I think they lost their last non-conference game to Washington State, I believe, so they're in a bit of a tailspin. Again, Notre Dame has looked better this week, but still, I'm going to have to see more from Notre Dame to really, put the stamp on there that they're actually any good or any of a bit of a threat. And then obviously the two non-conference games where it's just bye games. But yeah, usually when you're playing a Big Ten opponent and it makes it look like a game that you bought, you're usually playing Rutgers. But they're not playing Rutgers, they're playing Wisconsin this week. And the fact that they made that game look as lopsided and one-sided as they did, I think that's obviously a really good sign for how this regular season is going to go for Ohio State. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more. Like it. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this game and the Ohio State's chances moving forward. Thank you all again for watching, and I will see you at the next one.